All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin this video by giving the praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Racha, Kodash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the Lord's elect, beginning with the 144,000. This is Aratazah from the Great Millstone GMS Atlanta camp with another video. Excuse me. And pretty much this video is going to be centered around an article that I came across earlier today from CBS News. And the title of the article says, Doomsday Clock is set at 89 seconds to midnight, closest ever to, quote, global catastrophe. All right, this article dates back to January 28th, 2025, which this year, all right, 2025 has been on fire, just like the years prior, all right, how the new year or the month of January, always comes in with a bang, man, because we're at that time. And the time that we constantly speak on is the time of the end, all right, the end of Esau Edom, which Esau Edom is the so-called, or the biblical name for the so-called white man, all right, his rulership. We're coming into the time of the end of that rulership. And Esau has their doomsday clock and whatnot, and where they so-called measuring the times and looking at events and how close they think we are to the end. But really, as we always claim and preach, that we're the ones that's actually measuring and watching the times. All right, the prophets, the Lord has given the spirit and the insight to his men to be able to tell of the time, so to speak, as the scripture says. I believe that's Amos, the 3rd chapter in the 7th verse, where he said, the Lord revealeth his secret unto the servants, the prophets. All right, so the Lord is dealing with his prophets, okay, which the prophets only consist of Israelite men, and pretty much when I've seen this headline, it immediately made me think of 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, which speaks about the day of doom, all right, which we'll read that in just a second. I think a couple years back, Donald Trump, he didn't, which we know he was talking about us, all right, in particular, of course, the Hebrew Israelites, to be more precise, the men here at Great Millstone, starting with the apostles on down, because we're known for going into the prophecies, all right. He called us the prophets of doom, all right, and we constantly what we preach about, the doom that's looming over America and over the world in general, as the scriptures prophesied. All right. So I'll just read this a couple paragraphs here. All right. I'm not gonna read the whole article. You can check it out for yourself. If I remember, I'll leave a link to this down below in the comments section. But it says the doomsday clock was set at 89 seconds to midnight on Tuesday morning, putting it to the closest the world has ever been to what scientists deem is a global catastrophe. The decades-old international symbol, described by the University of Chicago-based nonprofit, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, as a metaphor that shows how close the planet is to reaching, quote, human extinction, is set every year. All right, in which we know that that's not going to happen. We speak about the end of the world. That doesn't mean that the earth is going to somehow explode into, as we say, a million pieces, and every last person on the earth is going to die. No, the end of the world just means the end of an age, the end of a rulership, as I mentioned earlier. But there's going to be a lot of people that's going to die in its coming times. Okay, and it says in January 2024, the clock was set at 90 seconds to midnight, the same as it was in 2023. This is the first time the clock has moved forward since 2023. And it goes on and on. So, yeah, man, we're basically in that time. All right, we're in that time of global, global catastrophe. We're in that time now, but it's going to intensify, man. All right, and let me get the scripture before I forget. 2nd Ezra chapter 7 in verse 43. Yeah. All right. Second Ezra chapter 7, verse 43. And it says, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. Okay, yeah, we in that time right now. The day of doom, all right, which ultimately is the day when the nukes are launched, man. World War III, thermonuclear war, thermonuclear destruction upon America, which is Babylon the Great. That's going to be the end, all right? That's the end game, as you know, we all know, those of us that are in this truth, you know, and that are laboring. We know that that's the end. That's the day of doom. Okay. And it says in the beginning of the immortality to come. All right. Yeah. Where the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. Because in order for the kingdom to come and be set up, the prior kingdom has to be uprooted. All right. Which the current kingdom that we're in is essentially Esau. All right. The so-called white man. Esau is in the power seat. But when the Lord come, that's going to change. All right. He's going to be put down and the Lord is going to be raised up along with the rest of the nation of Israel, starting with the elect. And that's when the immortality is going to come. As the scripture says in Revelations, is that Revelations 21, if I'm not mistaken, where it speaks about basically after the destruction of Babylon the Great, you know, it basically speaks about new Jerusalem coming down out of heaven. How there was no more weeping and crying, and it says that there was no more death. All right, that's basically what it means to be. What it says in the beginning of the immortality to come. That means basically no death. So in the kingdom, in the next world to come, Israelites are not going to die. It's not going to be no such thing as death, because we'll be perfect. All right, we'll have the laws written in our inward parts. We'll be 100% righteous. All right. But that's another, you know, that could be another topic for another video. And it says, wherein corruption is past. Right. The corruption of this world, all of that's going to be done away with. All right. Verse 44, it says, intemperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. See that? Yeah. So that's when righteousness is going to flourish. Righteousness is going to be put on the forefront. But this is after the day of doom. Okay, this man got to be put down. The man I'm speaking about is Esau, the so-called white man, and his whole power structure. It got to be taken out, man. In order for all of this stuff to come to pass, righteousness, truth, okay, being eternal, not dying, having power, rulership over the nations, righteousness. See that? And as a matter of fact, on that, all right, you can keep going on that, but let me jump to 2nd Ezra 6, because it just came to mind. All right, let's swipe back to the prior chapter. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 8. Okay, and it says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. And this is a reference back to the book of Genesis, the 25th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. We read from, I believe, verses 19 or 21 on down. It speaks about the birth of Jacob and Esau, which we know Jacob would become the father of the Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, which consists of so-called blacks, Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. And his twin brother Esau would become the progenitor or the father of the so-called white people that we see walking around the earth today. All right, they're the Edomites. And we know, we bring out how, when we read the story, Jacob's hand was holding on to Esau's heel or his ankle when they were born, which was a metaphor, was symbolic for Jacob essentially pulling Esau out of power in the future. And then it goes on in verse 9. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. See that? So that lines right up with what we just read in 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 43 on down. All right, where it says the day of doom should be the end of this time. All right, where basically where the corruption and all that's going to be done away with. But then afterwards, righteousness is going to flourish. See that? So when Jacob is established, Jacob being the Israelites, okay, that's when things are going to be set back right. But doom has to come, and it's looming. All right, it's a thick dark cloud looming over America, and the reason why we keep highlighting America because America is the main target of judgment in these latter days. This is Babylon the Great, mystery Babylon, like you read in Revelation 17, and all the nations are gonna aim their missiles at this place, and this place is gonna get lit up from coast to coast, man. And that's gonna be what? That's gonna be the end of the world, the end of Esau's world, And even these devils know it. Even though, like I said, these devils are not the prophets. They haven't been given the foresight and the insight like how the prophets have, but they know. All right, they could sense that we at the end, and there's going to be more signs and more things that's going to transpire and carry out on earth to let us know that we're closer to the end. Okay, so yeah, I just want to bring out a quick point on that. Like I said, this article I came across, I think a brother also put it in our chat as well. All right, yeah, it's gonna be global chaos, man, very soon, and it's already starting. Like I said, this year 2025 has been nothing but action packed, man. So how much more as the days and weeks and months come, it's gonna be more chaotic, and then before you know it, all right, doomsday's gonna be here. Okay. So I'm gonna leave it off there. All right, Lord willing, you was edified by this video, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, by Shem Rachak Wadash, and Lord willing, if the Spirit allow, I'll come back again with another video. Shalom.